All right, so we've received a lot of questions on creating a dedicated email within your CRM. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to get into your email settings, how to create a dedicated sending domain. So I'm going to explain something really important in a sec, but let's go ahead and come down to your settings tab and then enter email services. So when you're changing anything inside of your account, you're going to do it here when it comes to emails. Just know if you're trying to mess with anything for email, go ahead and come down to settings and then click email services. So if you plan to send out emails through your CRM, it is going to be essential that you create a dedicated domain. It's going to enhance deliverability, as you can see here, brand credibility, since it's going to be sending from your own domain that's linked to your account. Increase control. Essentially, it's great that you can get in here and start sending emails, but the problem is that your email reputation through the standard sender is the same as anybody else that's using that standard sender. So if there's somebody else that's using this software that is sending out a lot of spammy emails, you want to separate yourself from them. And by creating your own dedicated domain within this software, you're doing exactly that. And it also says here, reduce spam flagging. All right, so you can read all this, but what we want to do is go ahead and create a dedicated domain. So if you don't already have a domain linked to your account, you're going to want to do that. So if we jump over here to domains, what I can see is I have linked elisfreeguides.com. So that's what I plan to use. So when adding your dedicated domain, we're going to want to add a subdomain. So this would be, for example, LC, or we could say mail.elisfreeguides.com. All right, and then the email warming process here is very important. I've had a few back and forths between some people inside the CRM just asking about this, so it's important to understand that when you start sending through your dedicated domain, don't start sending emails to a bunch of random email addresses that you've never actually talked to before. You're going to want to send emails out to close friends, family, people who are going to communicate with you, because essentially you are separating yourself from the standard process for email deliverability and you're creating your own, and you want a good reputation when doing that, right? So if you plan to input a dedicated domain and then send a mass email to a list of 5,000 people that you've never communicated with because you want, to blast your newsletter, not a good idea. Okay, your email is not going to be warmed up the correct way. So just note that. We're just going to go ahead and press add and verify. All right, now we're going to get a pop-up. So depending on where your domain is housed, if it's purchased with inside the CRM, you can just press continue. Right? If it's through Squarespace or through Cloudflare, you might need to add your records manually, and you can go ahead and click add records manually. And this can seem a little daunting or overwhelming, but essentially you're just going to create new records in your DNS settings, and you're going to copy those. If you want to keep things simple, you can purchase your domain inside of the CRM and just go ahead and press continue. And if you're logged in to GoDaddy, for example, and your email is there, you can just press continue and your domain is going to get authorized automatically. Okay, so it says here that our domain is authorized. Okay, what we want to do is we want to add these records now. Okay, so I'm going to click add records. This is all going to happen automatically. All we have to do is go ahead and click verify. And you can see a couple of these records verified. It can take some time. As you can see here, DNS updates may take around 60 seconds to propagate. So we can go ahead and come back to our dedicated domains. And you'll see here that I have a dedicated domain set up for mail.elisfreeguides.com. I want to go ahead and press verify, and it's important to make sure that we verify our domain, otherwise it will automatically get deleted, right, if we start one and don't finish it. So I'm going to go ahead and press verify. You can see some more records verified within that 60 seconds. The TXT record did. And so I'm just going to keep doing this, wait for the DNS records to add, and come back and click verify again. All right, take a look there. So all of these records have been verified. I'm going to go ahead and click verify domain. And now we have successfully added mail.elisfreeguides.com. So if we click these three little dots, what you can see is we have the option to verify the domain. We have the option to delete the domain. We don't have to worry about any of that. We can also set the default headers. So here you can see default dedicated headers for your name and your email. All right, so if we want to set that, I can go ahead and put Eli here. I'm going to put my from name and then the dedicated from email, for all sending as eli@mail.elisfreeguides.com. Okay, so we're including our subdomain there, and then we're going to press save. We can go ahead and click these three little dots again. You can go into the domain settings and then SMTP settings. So I've had a question on, how do you understand SMTP settings and credentials? So an easy analogy to help understand this, that helps me actually understand this, is if a personal trainer has a client, they essentially hire them for a specific service. Now think of the client as your email, right? The email is written, it's great, it's ready to go, right? The client that hires you is ready to go with their training program. You as the trainer, your job is to deliver them the right coaching program, the right nutrition plan, and a great experience, right? So that they get the result that they want. Your email wants to get delivered to the inbox that you assign it to. So SMTP essentially is the same as the personal trainer in this sense, and it helps ensure that deliverability happens the correct way. So that's the way I like to think of it. I'm sure there's a better analogy out there, but we don't need to get too deep into SMTP details. Here you can see that it is delivered by mailgun.org. So you don't need to set or create a new SMTP server. Essentially, you can add new users if you'd like. All right, so we can come back, we can click the three little dots, and we can go under domain settings. Here we can see email tracking control. So you can just keep these on for now. All right, so once we've set up one, we can jump over to domain configuration to kind of better understand, how we can use this dedicated sending domain. So we have the option to customize here if we want to use this during workflows. Okay, so when we create a new automation or the free guides that already come with your account that are being sent out through the workflows, I can select 100% of the emails to be sent through mail.elisfreeguides.com. I can also select a one-on-one conversation domain, right? A campaign domain. So this is within my email marketing tab. If I want to launch campaigns or send emails out through the marketing and the email building tab, I can set that as my email campaign. I can set my bulk emails to the same, okay? And I can set, it also as the default dedicated domain. So go ahead and set 100% of the traffic going through your domain. You don't need to set up multiple dedicated domains now, but you totally can in the future. We have a dedicated domain set up, and we can jump into the reply and forward settings. So this is going to be very important to understand. You just set up a dedicated sending domain. So emails being sent out, right? You set up your own domain, they're going to be sent out through that domain. Now, if you receive any email responses, they're going to show up in your conversations tab, right? But you can also set a forwarding address here. So I'm going to input mine, eli@mindpumpmedia.com, and then I'm going to go ahead and press enter. So you can add multiple forwarding addresses so that you can see all of the replies that come to your inbox. I could go ahead and put my reply address as eli@mail.elisfreeguides.com in this case. And I can go ahead and press save. Okay, here I'll be able to see my analytics as I start sending emails. I'll be able to see my risk assessment. You can see your bounce rates and all kinds of settings. Okay, but that is how I essentially set a sending domain. I can forward it to an inbox that I have with Gmail, for example. But what this isn't is it isn't a Gmail account, right? It isn't a Gmail business suite. The other thing that you'll see is if we come into my profile within the business settings, you can set up an email two-way sync. What this means is that if you do get any emails sent specifically to your old email address that you currently use for business, they will show up inside the CRM and they'll be automatically added as a new contact. And then you can start emailing them using your dedicated sending domain. All right, so here I ran a quick test once this is set up. So what I did was I created and sent an email to eli@mail.elisfreeguides.com. And as you can see, I sent it here, eli@mail.elisfreeguides.com, and I said, hey, I'm testing the email servers, And this came in as a new conversation inside my CRM. So anybody that sends you a direct email to your subdomain that we just set up is going to come in through this CRM. Now, it also automatically created an opportunity because anybody that messages you inside of the CRM is going to jump to hot leads. All right, so you can see there I have a new hot lead. They've emailed me or messaged me, and they've been tagged as a hot lead. Okay, pretty cool. So inside of my contacts, I can also see this new email that came in. I sent it through eli@mindpumpmedia.com. And let's go ahead and see what happens if I respond. Are you interested in training? And in my from email, I want to make sure that this is eli@mail.elisfreeguides.com. Okay. I always want to make sure that that is the from email. To save some time with this, you can set this up as a custom value, but it should auto-populate. That's why we set our standard from email address and from name, right, in the email settings. Okay, and then subject, I can just say responding/test response, and I can go ahead and then send this as an email. And I can see this test email right here. It came into my inbox, responding/test response. Now, if I reply to this, you can see the reply address, eli@mail.elisfreeguides.com, and I can say, emails are working great. Okay, now I have a sending address that I can send out emails to. I also have an email address that's going to go directly into the CRM with my subdomain. Come to unread and I can see it right there. Emails are working great. So comment your questions below. I know there might be some as there's so much covered, but for those of you that are setting this up, I wanted to record a longer video to show you the step-by-step process that we can't really get into on a short Q&A call. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope this was really helpful.